Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello there. Welcome back.
Welcome back, guys. So we're going to be deep diving into energy work in a very deep way. They're being very redundant. And I want to preface it by touching a little bit on Taoist philosophy and thought so that we could understand a little bit more of the mindset of where so much of our Qigong, medical Qigong training and philosophy comes from. So many people are familiar with the yin and the yang symbol, as you have, the opposites, the polarities that are interplaying with each other and give us the manifest universe. So what are some key principles of Taoist philosophy? And again, it's a philosophy, it's not a religion, so to speak. It's very profound. It's very intricate. Yeah, absolutely. I've done video where I read the entire Tao Te Ching. Everybody should, I really encourage everybody to read it once at least in your life and meditate on it, because it is something that you could read all the way through, but it's better digested in small bits. It's better to be savored.
Oh, yeah, savored. I savor kind of quickly myself.
She does. She'll finish her meal in half the time that I do, or a third, because I go slow and like last night's spaghetti, it was gone in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I'm the Sita eater. I can't help it. Maybe I should give myself one of those. They make those trays for pups. They can't eat very fast.
Yeah. So savor it and break it down in small pieces and really let it sink in and see what realizations you get from it. And so, here are some of the fundamental principles that underlie and unite all the things in the universe. So the Tao is the ultimate indefinable force and the source of all existence. It's the way or the path that governs the natural order of the universe. The Tao is both the source and the pattern of the cosmos, existing beyond human comprehension and description. It's characterized by spontaneity, fluidity, and constant transformation. We do know and agree that energy can't be created or destroyed. It just simply, it changes forms, it transmutates. And when you look to the Tao, again, as soon as you name something, that's not it. So anything that could be named, well, that's not quite it. Anything that has a shape or a form, that's not it either. So it is kind of a conundrum in some ways, but I do think what we take to be the Tao is the natural programming of the universe, and a lot of times too, it's coming into alignment with the higher self.
Alignment's a very important thing that we do, but all the lessons surrounding that alignment are extremely important.
Wu Wei is often translated as non-action or effortless action. Wu Wei refers to the practice of aligning one's actions with the natural flow of the Tao. Key idea here is Wu Wei advocates for actions that are in harmony with the natural world and inherent rhythms of life, avoiding forceful or unnatural efforts. It emphasizes simplicity, patience, and humility. Again, this is a philosophy system that is a way of life for the practitioners that practice this and take this seriously.
Yes, very seriously.
And again, I would refer to this in the sense that we often come in and it feels like we're always fighting upstream with certain things. Why does this pattern always keep happening? Why does that always seem to happen to me? A lot of times it's because we're not in alignment. It's just that simple. We're not in the flow of what the universe and our higher selves have in mind for us.
And I gotta say, I never tire of watching someone move into alignment and the things that happen in their life. Sometimes things might appear good, but they're actually happening to be a lesson for that person, so that person can finally learn the things and then bloom and be the best that they could possibly be. Or little things might happen in their life. They might lose their car keys for 10 minutes, which actually helps them be out of the way of a major accident. So, you might see the keys as frustrating, but guess what? It saved your life. So things come along in our lives and we think that they're, oh no, we might be frightened of them, but they turn out to be the best thing for us. And I think if we can just be more wave and less particle, things would simply work out better. And when I say that, I mean like wave. You want to be in a state of an energy wave. And moving to the particle is that dead force. Now it's just slowed down and you don't want to hit the particle. You want to always try to stay in the wave and go with the flow as much as possible, yet stay grounded. It's a trick.
Yes, absolutely. Naturalness, Zeran. The description is of Zeran. It means naturalness or self-so, denoting a state of being that is in accordance with the natural order. Key ideas here: it encourages living in a way that is true to one's nature and the nature of the universe, promoting spontaneity and authenticity. I think that what we get with the system in place in this world is the exact opposite of that. And I think it's truly purposeful. Because look at how, in so many ways, you're told to conform to the ideals of, a corporation, a city-state, a town, whatever it is, conform to the ideals of a religion, of a political party, even into diets, and if you're really going to be strict, vegan, you got to do this, or paleo, you got to do that, or keto thing, again, that's kind of the opposite of the natural way of things. And not to say that none of those things have any value, because they can, to help us get through certain stages in life. But really, life is supposed to be spontaneous. It's supposed to be exciting, fun, and it's supposed to be an adventure. It's not supposed to be slaving away for some dead corporation all the time where you can't be yourself, where you have to read scripts. You have to act in a certain way. This is part of company policy. This is not, again, that's not being authentic to yourself. So I see the system that we have on planet Earth is anything but natural.
It's this matrix that they're trying to create, this false matrix that I think we need to do our best to steer clear of. We find ourselves in a world where we need the computers, we need the phones, the tablets to survive, but these are all part of the false matrix. So what do we do? And I think each one of us needs to recreate our world as best as we can to not rely on these, but rely on ourselves, even if that means pulling in family.
Yeah, again, it's this world makes it so you lose track of and maybe have no clue about who you really are. And that's really part of the whole purpose of the world is to bring about conformity. It's not the natural order of things, not the natural order at all. Can you imagine? How could you be spontaneous? When you're tied into a job from, say 8 to 5 every day, or, all these different obligations that we have in this world, which again are all ultimately tied into the financial system. And so it keeps us from being in the flow. And so again, this is where we really need a complete change in the entirety of the system so we can live up to our highest potential and be the most authentic version of you. Be spontaneous, have things that are totally out of the box be the norm for you, and explore and have fun. We should be, again, that phrase, you must be born again. You must be like a little child to inherit the kingdom of heaven. Well, yeah, life every day should be exploring and fun and adventure.
And I think a lot of people are undoing what they thought that they knew so that they could relearn everything and explore under a different perspective.
Simplicity, or poo. Description: poo, often translated as uncarved block or simplicity, represents the ideal state of purity and simplicity. emphasizes the importance of maintaining simplicity and avoiding excessive desires, complexity, and artificiality to achieve harmony with the Tao. Again, this is something that we just don't see given to us as the ideal from this world system, always striving for more, this competitive nature against others, as opposed to being competitive to be with just ourselves, to be the best version of ourselves, to improve on things that we want to improve on. But it's always that comparison. If we really, really cut to the chase and we try to live a more simple, authentic life, it will lead to streamlining things and maybe taking some pressure off yourself. I think far too often we put too much pressure on ourselves.
We put way too much pressure. Well, life shouldn't be that hard anyway, and if it is, we need to take a look at that.
Yeah, and avoiding excessive desires. Sometimes what is enough? When will you feel like there is an abundance? It varies for each person. We see, again, billionaires leading the way. Is a billionaire enough, or do you need to become the first trillionaire? Again, nature provides. Again, you could look into the Bible, and do you think the birds worry about where they're going to get their next meal from? Again, they're just living in the moment. We have so lost living in the moment and being in the flow.
I think we have, but we're in a place now. If you're listening to this, you're ready to find that flow again.
Absolutely, because certainly money does not buy happiness, as we see so many of the most miserable people in the world are those that do have an apparent abundance, but somehow they're always lacking inside, and that's because they've lost their connection to themselves. And society does this to us. It really does. There is so much peer pressure on people, especially when you go into school, and then when you get out of school and you go into the workforce, there's always this pressure. I do see a lot of changes in society, and I do see a lot of people that are tired of it, and they just don't want to have anything to do with it. And thus you see a lot of people out there doing the homesteading thing, living simple, kind of removing themselves from the quote-unquote daily grind that society imposes.
Thinking back in school, let's just take, for example, learning about parallelograms. I have never used that knowledge, parallelograms, and it's like, why not teach children to make a chicken coop or, repair a roof or make a garden? But instead, they have to teach us about parallelograms. It's like, come on, you guys.
Well, again, it's priorities. And here we have relativity and complementary. So Taoism teaches that opposites are interconnected and interdependent. Key idea, concepts like yin and yang illustrate exactly how seemingly opposite forces are actually complementary, creating balance and harmony in the universe. Everything contains elements of its opposite. And if that sounds familiar to you because you've studied the Hermetic principles, obviously this is in complete agreement. It's almost word for word what we get in the Western mystery tradition, because again, that Western mystery tradition is pulling mostly from these Eastern philosophy sources, like again, Taoism and also Hinduism, as well as others.
Opposite forces are very important. It's the yin and the yang, and it's how they come together and how they bless your life. And once you're able to find that balance, you swing back and forth like a pendulum, and then one day it's like, boom, you find that center, and it's equal and opposite energy on both sides. It's an amazing place.
It is, and even within the system, we see that it almost creates this mindset that it's not okay to be yin and it's not okay to be yang, and then you get the confusion therein. It's meant to be the way it is, and everybody is a different percentage, if you will, of yin and yang. It's all about energy, and it's all about that dynamic flow of energy that brings about motion and creativity.
Indeed.
So we have compassion, moderation, and humility. The three treasures. These are core ethical teachings in Taoism. Compassion, showing kindness and empathy towards others. Moderation, practicing restraint and avoiding extremes. And humility, again, maintaining a humble attitude and not seeking to dominate others, as there is this tendency in this world to, have this domineering attitude and personality. When we look to the politicians and the power structure, they're very domineering. They're always looking to exert control over people and trying to get people to conform. Again, if you're operating out of compassion, you just won't act that way. And also operating out of moderation and humility, you'll find peace and happiness with the treasures that are brought to you.
Mm-hmm. You will. Sometimes you have to slow down in life and look at things and see, could this be a treasure? Sometimes we're handed things in life and it doesn't look too good. But if you slow down and sit back and look at it, you can find the blessings. It's not an easy thing to do. It takes years, but you can always find the blessing in something. And sometimes, yes, it does take years, but it's there.
Flexibility and adaptability. Taoism values the ability to adapt and flow with the circumstances. Key idea like water, which is soft and yielding, yet can overcome the hardest obstacles. Individuals should remain flexible and open to change, adapting to one's life's challenges with resilience and grace. Yeah, we find this all the time in our own lives, and Cindy's always reminding me, hey, instead of getting worked up, there's always something better that's going to develop if something, apparently goes sour.
It goes back to be more wave and less particle.
Yeah, go with the flow. Allow yourself to go with the flow. And, again, this is all about not allowing yourself to be controlled by others and to conform to others, but be a unique version of you. Again, when we look to others for approval, then we're losing track with who we are.
It happens a lot, but it has a purpose.
Absolutely. Interconnectedness. Everything in the universe is interconnected and interdependent. Recognize the fundamental interconnectedness of all things, advocating for a holistic view of life and the environment. And so many people are finding holistic medicine now, mind, body, breath, practice. It's so important. It cannot be understated. When we view everything in a holistic way, we will automatically find ways of balancing ourselves and balancing our days. Again, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. Yeah, absolutely, and leads to an early grave. You need to find balance and harmony and recognize that your actions set forth this cascading effect of other reactions. So everything that we do will affect everybody around us, and even those that we don't necessarily come in direct contact with, because this is one big ocean of consciousness. So when there's a ripple in your life, that ripple is going to go out and it's going to affect people that you might not even think it would affect.
So it is really best for everyone to stay in a state of peace and understanding as much as possible. You just never know what someone else might be going through.
Absolutely. And the value of non-contention, avoiding unnecessary conflict and competition. And boy, this is something, the world needs to learn this. Encourages resolving disputes and achieving goals through harmony and non-contention, rather than forceful or aggressive means. This is something we all need to look at within ourselves every single day. This is unfortunately not something that we see in the system, as we have obviously nonstop wars going on all the time, nonstop, diatribes and conflicts of words going on between the left and right paradigms, the different religions that are at odds, always trying to convert somebody to their point of view. When you get to the point where you value non-contention, when you truly are avoiding unnecessary conflict and competition, then we could start to really transform the whole planet.
We're going to get there.
It's a process, and it's a totally different mindset than what we have had in the Kali Yuga. Inner cultivation, the practice of nurturing one's inner life to align with the Tao, focus on self-cultivation, meditation, and practices that inherently enhance spiritual growth and harmony with the Tao. So yeah, absolutely. As long as we keep working on ourselves, again, take that mote out of your eye before you remove the plank from your neighbor's, or the exact opposite is what he was quoted as saying. Yeah, absolutely. We have to constantly work on ourselves, because we do have the ability to work on ourselves. We don't have the ability to work on neighbors, family and friends, or perfect strangers somewhere off in a totally different part of the planet. All we can do is create the environment around ourselves that we want, and then hope that energy will spill out into the greater whole.
Even more than that, when I'm looking at someone's chart and say they have a lot of inner turmoil, you would want to look to Mars and see where is Mars in their chart. Because Mars is, you tend to come out into the world and you want to adjust everything on the outside of you to, work on the inside of you. And people have a lot of conflict that way. That's your Mars energy. So if the Mars is debilitated, somebody might have to do a little more inner work, because you have to adjust the inside of you for the outside of you, if that makes sense. But our planets are very important in understanding these things about ourselves and how to go about adjusting our inner world to be more effective and more coherent.
So, Taoist philosophy offers a rich tapestry of insights aimed at fostering a harmonious and balanced life. By aligning with these principles, individuals can cultivate inner peace, wisdom, and a deep connection with the natural world and the underlying unity of existence. Truly, if everybody in this planet studied Taoism and meditated on it and tried to implement it into their lives, we would have a total paradigm shift on the planet. Absolutely, without a doubt. So I wanted to just give you this first before we go into that series that's going to be going up on Patreon of energy work, because we'll have a deep dive into some things. And I was looking, searching YouTube, and looking for some past acquaintances and friends, what have you, that are in this energy field, different Qigong masters and stuff. And there's such a lack up there of real deep insight and understanding. And I know there's some really, really wonderful teachers out there. And I see the books in print, but I don't see a lot of videos. So I think it's sorely needed, and so we'll be doing a deep dive into Qigong, medical Qigong, pranic healing, Reiki, and other forms of energy work, as they are all energy work, and they are all transformative. And again, self-cultivation is the most powerful practice you can have in your own life.
Indeed.
And so, on that note, chill, maybe a nice cold bath, maybe a nice warm bath. Immerse yourself in nature. Not a single care is given. This is truly bliss. We are meant to be in a blissful state, and we can achieve it. We can achieve it even when there's all sorts of chaos around us.
Indeed. Patience.
Patience, grasshoppers. Source bless and namaste.
Namaste.